Hey, crypto crackheads. Let's kick the tires and light the fires. This is crypto land, and it's going to get hot, and it's going to get boring first, but it's about to get hot. So let's make a video about how to find crypto gems and also how to increase your general market wizardry so you can make better calls and better macro judgments. So any type of micro call that you ever should make, let's say you're using a 15-minute chart or just, blindly hitting buy on something, you should always have a macro reasoning behind that, a reason behind it. So we're going to go over some of that here today. So most people are probably going to want to hear about how to find gems. So let's do that first, and then I'll cover Ethereum, Litecoin, and Bitcoin Cash, since I've been going over Bitcoin for a while, and Bitcoin's going to stay the same direction for about 20 more days here, I would guess. So let's start off with crypto gems. So there are two main ways that I find crypto gems. And for context, though, just know that I've been geeked out about this space since 2017. And I mean, pretty much almost every day of my life, I've spent over an hour reading crypto news and also simply hunting on CoinMarketCap. As I'm trying to fall asleep at night, until my wife complains, "Turn off your phone, I can't sleep." Literally almost every single night of my life, I've been hunting and hunting and hunting. So context there, but you can't really catch up on those 4 years unless you just copy what I do. I'm not suggesting that to anybody, although sometimes emulating somebody who has spent a great deal of time doing something is a pretty good way to catch up. But if you end up doing that, just know that I am pretty invested in a lot of this stuff, and I don't want to try to shill, but by definition, if I talk about a coin that I already have, that really is shilling. I just want you to know that. So, but most YouTubers, though, in terms of gems, I want you to know what they're doing, and it's very, very dishonest. What's his name, Elliot or something? So one of the biggest ones, he does give great information. I think the guy's name is Elliot. He gives awesome information, and his followers do make a good deal of money from it. But something he doesn't say a whole lot is, before he makes that video, you can be for damn sure he's out there buying big bags of that coin. And what happens is, when his 100,000 plus followers, and a lot of shillers, right? This is all that happens during bull market, is everybody's shilling coins. Because they buy it first, and then when it goes 10x, when it starts slowing down, they sell. All right. They don't necessarily market, sell, and dump it. I'm not saying they dump it. They probably already have their their limit sell orders in, so they're not ever dumping. You can only dump a coin if you market sell. I don't see him doing that a lot, or any shillers. I think they're putting limit sell orders around the 10x point, and because what they do then is, now they have 10 times the money, and they can go shill 10 coins and buy all 10 of them, or just buy 3 of them, shill 3 more coins, and buy 3 times as much money as they could have, or no, 10 times as much more than they could have earlier, because they just 10x their money, and they do it over and over and over, and they're making millions of dollars doing it, especially if they have a following of over 100,000 viewers. So I want you to know what's going on when you watch YouTubers with a large following. That is exactly what they're doing, and honestly, think about it. Their followers and viewers are benefiting from it, so it's not necessarily bad, because people are benefiting from it as long as they're taking profits, which doesn't always happen. But they are benefiting from it, so it's not a horrible thing. It's really good, just so you know that that's what's happening out there. So I will be as honest as I can if I have a coin and I'm technically shilling it, but a lot of times I have a coin because I'm putting my money where my mouth is, right? So hopefully you could, there is give and take there, but it's just good to know. And all right, so that's the first thing. But how I find coins, there are two main ways. The first is technical analysis, and the second way is just by hunting, straight up putting your time in to find essentially that next penny stock that is way undervalued. And the easiest way right now to find undervalued coins are coins that were not made in 2017. Any coin that came out in 2017, the likelihood of that being crazy overvalued is almost 100%. Almost 100%. And if you watch one of my previous videos, I say why. But essentially, the base reasoning is Ethereum was a poop catapult, and they have fixed that. Thank God they fixed that. They're not allowing people just to come on their platform and create an ICO magically out of thin air. You know, maybe they only got like $4,000 of investor money, but they just say, our project is worth $500 million, therefore we have this many coins that we're going to put in circulation, and because we're worth $500 million, even though we have no product, we haven't changed the world, we're just going to say it is, and that's why we're going to sell each coin for 10 cents. And if you look at graphs of ICOs in 2017, especially late 2017, they all tanked. Boom! They went straight down. Why? Because the people who made the coins dumped it on the public who bought them, and it just became a cycle. But it only lasted a few months because things really only became overvalued. I would say July on, maybe, but particularly in October and even through January, February of 2018, it was insane. So to find a gem, don't look for stuff that began in 2017 for the most part. There are a few exceptions, maybe like Deep Onion, which I am very heavily invested in. It's like a Monero, but way faster, and it solves a lot of problems Monero didn't have. But there are almost no exceptions. So if you want to look for your own gem, look for coins that came out in 2018, 2019, or 2020. Or perhaps even 2014, but usually if you find one that's 2014 and you think it's a gem, it's going to be based on technical analysis, because it's not going to pump because of the hype. Those there might be some exceptions like Digibyte, because Digibyte's kind of like, but they're already like like 500 million in market cap, so the ROI potential is not that high necessarily in terms of pumping. But anyway, that is, but older coins, if you think it's a gem, it's going to be because of technical analysis, right? And Viacoin, which is something I have gone over several times, that is the perfect absolute example. Its main competitor, which is a little bit more advanced than Viacoin, but they stay toe-to-toe, and Viacoin has almost 100% of their coins are in circulation, almost zero deflation. That's why I like it better. But anyway, those two coins are kind of gems because the way their graphs are essentially showing that they're going to go in terms of momentum, it looks like as certain as you can get in crypto that they're going to 70x. And take that with a grain of salt. They could just flounder and only do 2x or go straight to zero, but the technical analysis behind them, which I will cover Viacoin one more time here, that is one reason why, and typically those are older coins, because coins from 2019, 2018, 2020, they simply are not old enough to have an actual technical analysis. Like when I cover Bitcoin Cash here a little later, you'll see that you can't do much technical analysis on a weekly or monthly candle. It's too young. So those are the two main ways. All right. Here is, so I have pulled up Silo, which is on KuCoin. Its market cap is around 3 million right now. And it's one of those coins where it's one of the rarer ones that it's newer, and it was born inside of the bear market. So, that's one good thing. So it wasn't born in 2017. And, it almost looks like a Cardano graph. Straight down, right? So, how would you know that this is a gem through technical analysis? Well, if you look at one of my previous videos when I talked about the exponential moving averages and moving averages, what you see here, I guess when you look at this graph here, what comes to mind is blue. You see a lot of blue, like that line really pops out. But there's a reason it pops out, is because price stayed under it. So the yellow line you can't see very well because price was going through it all the time and you don't see it as much. So blue pops out for a good reason. So let's look at this blue, which is the 55. The thick blue is the 55 EMA. Very important line, by the way, especially on the daily and weekly. And so it's not old enough to have it on the week. See that? So technical analysis for newer coins, it gets pretty tough. So I have this on the 12-hour chart. So make note of that, 12-hour chart. And so for newer coins, a 12-hour chart, or for a coin maybe 2 years old, 12 hours is probably the way to go, or maybe daily. For brand new coins born in 2020, like 4-hour and 8-hour and 12-hour charts are the way to go. So anyway, this is what I'm seeing with Silo. And this is why I made the decision to buy it. Because I think it's a gem. Here we go. So this 55 EMA here, price, every time it went above it, what did it do next? It went down. It got rejected, went down. Went above it, popped its head above water just for a second, went down. So on and so forth, you get the picture. This one, you know, right when people thought maybe the bull market started, nope, went down. And here, look at this shape. This is a U, like a frying pan shape. Do you see any other frying pan shapes here? No, you don't. You see more of a, well, this one is. This one's, that kind of is legitimately frying pan, but most of them are sharp. Sharp. And so this has had a lot more time to correct, let's say from the time it really started tanking to when it had it corrected. So that's 58 days. And how long was this panhandle? Let's say from there to there, 39 days. So this is a panhandle here. It's really rounded out. That's one major difference, but here's the key difference. It poked its head above that blue line. And look what it's doing here. It looks like it wants to stay above. And look at the, so the yellow is the 21 EMA. Look how much height it has over this as opposed to all the other times. Look, it barely went up, barely went up, barely went above it. Didn't even touch it. Went way above it, but this was, this was at the, this is stuff getting volatile because it crashed so much. That's kind of normal. All that volatility right after a big crash is kind of normal. And so there are three major differences here. It had more time to round out, and the 21 EMA seems to have gone much more above it and doesn't seem to be crashing right down below. And also, if you pull up the stochastics of this, this is still staying right at it with 12-hour Stokes being way down, way down. So, and you can see when it crashed down, that's when Stokes are pretty far down here. So Stokes are typically like the bottom of the cycle. Here, and so I don't think there's a time when this has gone under this white line. Let's see here, under this white line. Oh, it was still flirting with it here. So what you want to watch out for before you make an entry, and still this might be premature to be making an entry. I just been working off a little gut feeling here because look how much extended this is, and none of the others were that extended, right? It's just sharp up, sharp down. So if these 12-hour Stokes can round out, or even on the 4-hour chart, if this looks like so the 4 hours curling up here, if it can make a good, if it can hold this up, it looks like it's going to stay. Now, technically, do you have confirmation that this is a good time to buy, and you're not just going to find a new lower low? No, this is earlier than confirmation. So if you were to make entry now, you're still sort of gambling. This is like, to buy now is not following technical analysis rules. However, working with hunches such as altcoins are popping, and they really are, that might be a good reason to enter in a little earlier, and with a, but not heavily getting into it. Just chipping in, a little bit to diversify your portfolio here. But there are a lot of reasons to chip in a little bit now, although you do not have confirmation. Now, let's say the 12-hour Stokes start rounding up, and it did stay, or maybe just dipped below a little bit. the Stokes start rounding up. That would probably be a good time to buy, especially if these Stokes can get above and stay above the white line, not a fake out like this, so not like that in there, and drops back down, but stays above and starts getting maybe like to here. That might be a good time. So there was one fake out that high earlier, another fake out that high. So Stokes get about to the this level of 47, and it had stayed above. That would be your confirmation. Stokes out in the 12-hour getting to 47. That would be a hit. Like if I wanted to dump money into it, I would wait till Stokes on the 12-hour chart rose up to 47 and price were above this. So that is one technical analysis. And let's, the power of Stokes, they are kind of finicky, so don't rely on them. Don't just think if I buy here and sell here, it's going to work. No, you will get toasted like that. I've been there, done that, and most people who try to trade have. So don't try that. But they are fairly good indicators, and a lot of times you can find a certain candle like the 12. So Bitcoin, the 12 for the last 3 years has been the most no-brainer buy sell. So it's been the best signaler for quite a while, and I learned that from watching Krown's Crypto Cave, Krown with a K, for 4 years, since he had 7,000 subscribers, and he literally said hi to everybody who joined his channel as they popped on. So he had some system, but anyway. And so you can find which hour candle is working the best to represent Stokes versus price range. And here the 12-hour looks pretty accurate. It seems to get the highs and lows pretty accurately. So that's why I would say if this got to 47, that would be a very, very good entry point to go moderately heavy, assuming price stays above this. So that's technical analysis gem finding. One more quick, I'll try to make this quicker. Viacoin. I chose the wrong one. Okay, big tricks. So Viacoin's technical analysis, a lot of price history. So look down here. This is going to 2014, and again, I drew. This might be a different chart I typically don't use because it looks a little skinnier. But anyway, I drew these lines in March, and look how perfectly price is following it. Like I drew this almost a year ago, right? Like so, and look how perfectly price is following it, and pretty much all I did was I tried to measure the days, using this ruler, this guy here, just kind of measuring stuff out to see how quickly, or sometimes you can copy and paste these. I know there's a way to do it. I can do it on TradingView a little better, but no, I am on TradingView. I know there's a way to do it, but you can literally copy and paste this and drag it over, and I think that's what I did, and that allowed me to draw this. And so the technical analysis of this is pretty fantastic right now. So that's why I decided to buy down here, because I was thinking, well, if I buy it at 18 cents and it gets up to 58 bucks, or like at the minimum, technical analysis saying about 42. So that is a ridiculous amount of that's some ridiculous returns, right? So 42. Let's see. So yeah, that's over 200x. I mean, that's insane. That's just crazy, right? So and so it's in the charts that that Viacoin has an insane run ahead of it, and also the technical analysis, like just on a raw percentage basis. This must be a different chart because I just did this the other day and it said 225,000%. Maybe I did it from the very bottom. Maybe I did it from like the total bottom. Yeah, so 235,000% run. And so when I made this and copied and pasted it, and so this is logarithmic, so it gets crunched and crunched, like to move $100 here is the same length as to move $2 here, right? So like, look, from 150 to 350, so that's $2. That's this width, and here from 90 to 200 is the same width. So, but anyway, the copy and paste seem to align with the idea that a lot of runs, the second run, are a third of the size of the previous one, and so this lines up with about 70-something thousand, which times 3 is 21 or 210 to 230,000 bucks. So it just, everything seemed to align, and I said, holy cow, this is probably going to hit $42 unless something crazy happens government wise. So that is the second form of technical analysis that I do to find gems, and this would be on an older coin. And so also what you want to do is you want to figure out, okay, for older coins, are the teams even still active? Like, are they doing stuff with their coins? And there are a couple ways to do that. First off, Reddit and GitHub are good ways to do that, to see how active the teams are. A lot of projects do not use GitHub. They do not actively and make public all of their code, so it's not a foolproof way to do it. But on Reddit or Twitter, even or even Facebook, you can tell if the team is posting stuff. So with older coins, that's really important because most coins that have been abandoned, they're not going to zero because people don't look at that. They just buy it. They say, oh, it's low. It's starting to round out, and they buy it and they make it. They give it a heartbeat. So with older coins, you need to look in, is the team still active, and those are the easiest ways to do it. Twitter is really the no-brainer one, and Reddit. Twitter, Reddit are the best, and then GitHub, Facebook, and then the page itself. But a lot of times an abandoned team could still change the page just a tiny bit or keep stuff up, and it might look active, but you can't really tell. So that is the technical analysis side of things. From a gem finder standpoint of, let's just say how I found BEPRO, pretty much what I was doing was I did this. Actually, I think I remember exactly how I did it. I know that, so exchanges, so Coinbase, you're not going to find any gems on Coinbase at all, ever. Why? Because, or even Binance now necessarily, even though 𝐼𝐞oin is on Binance, but that is kind of an exception to the rule because it's so old. But Binance, Coinbase, there is a fee to get on there. And in order to be able to pay that fee, which is like upwards of $1 million+ to be listed on there as a project, well, what has to happen? Well, that coin has to have mooned so that the founders ever to the project leaders have enough investor money, people like you and me who have paid them, and they use your money to get listed on there. And so because of that, that means their market cap is already high, and therefore the ROI potential, just like Bitcoin's ROI potential, is peanuts compared, to something on page 4 of CoinMarketCap, or page 5 or even 10, as long as it's an undervalued project. So you're not going to really find a lot of gems on Coinbase, or you can find some on Binance if they had a round of funding and they have a low market cap. But anyway, KuCoin is like a very special place because they have low entry fee and they tend to vet the projects pretty well, and they seem to have pretty good coins jumping on there. So what I did was I just searched for a coin that I knew was on there. So I'm a big fan of Tone or TE Food. And the market cap just tanked. Probably not a bad entry point, even though I've been selling. I'm probably the one who crashed it because I've been buying other stuff. I started selling around here thinking it would go with Bitcoin, and I was right. So I'm kind of glad I did that. But anyway, so what I did was this. So first off, I had the mindset, well, which exchanges should I look on at first, right? So I wasn't just scrolling through CoinMarketCap because there are a lot of exchanges that I don't want to use, and maybe my money would get confiscated if I ever forgot to turn on my VPN to use them. So I chose KuCoin specifically so I can essentially filter the noise, right? So I'm not searching a bunch of small cap coins that I can't get a hold of safely. So I chose KuCoin because I know I can use it. And then what I did was, you just scroll down. And unfortunately, it does not list them by market cap. But a lot of times, the trading volume and market cap are pretty. The correlation is very positive. I mean, it's probably a correlation of 1 or higher. I mean, it's not inversely correlated. So what I did is I started from the bottom and worked my way up. Now, a lot of these that trade versus ETH, you got to kind of skip those. You're pretty much mostly looking versus USDT and BTC, and then the native token of 𝐭ocoin shares. I think it might be KCS. You kind of skip those as well because the volume is naturally going to be lower. Most people trade in USDT or BTC, so you skip those or skip versus NEO. That's a cool pairing. You could probably make a lot of money off that. That's a neat pairing. I didn't know you could trade versus NEO. That's actually really cool. Wow. But anyway, so, I literally just opened up a new tab, just right click, open up a new tab, and I start reading. So, I mean, and I must have skipped these because I know I opened them and I landed on BEPRO somewhere, wherever the heck it is. There, so it was way up there. So I did a lot of hunting. I mean, look. Now, BEPRO was way farther down because it's been pumping, right? So this was probably more like 100,000 or maybe 300,000. So it was probably around here. So I probably, that's still several scrolls up, but obviously I've done a lot of hunting. And so so you open up for the website, but you also open up the coin itself. On CoinMarketCap, because the very first thing I want to do is I want to see how big the market cap is. I don't want anything over 20 million cap, because the ROI potential is just for example, if you get in on a project at 1 million cap, right, versus 2 million cap, that's still very small caps, right? But just look at the difference. If during the run that coin goes to 100 million, okay, and before the blow off top of Bitcoin happens, it gets to 100 million. The ROI difference is half. You have half the ROI potential, because to go from 2 million market cap to 100 million market cap is 50x. To go from 1 million to 100 is 100x. So for, imagine starting at 20 million. That's way less ROI potential, right? So that's why small caps, that's where the big money is. Or highly leveraged trading, and I don't suggest that. But those are the only two ways. Like, if you just buy Cardano, hold it, you're not going to make much money. Anything on page 1 CoinMarketCap, you could maybe 15x, 20x your money. But that's about as good as it's going to get. And that's small in crypto land. So anyway, what market cap is this? 6. All right. And when I was hunting, it was a lot lower. So this has been mooning. So everything's going to be mooning here. So that was a 1.2. So this is 6x. I mean, that's a good pump. And why didn't I choose it? Well, opacity website. Here we go. Click that. So if it's at 6, it was at 1 million when I looked at it, and private cloud storage. Okay, so the reason I didn't do this is because private cloud storage, that was one of the hypes of 2017, and it's not hyping now. So, for example, the hype of 2013 is what's the next Bitcoin? What's the next Bitcoin? The hype of 2017 is what's the Ethereum killer? What's the Ethereum? That's why Cardano was so big, and NEO and all that. Ethereum killers. But that's not hyping this year, except for Cardano, because everybody seems to love Charles, who's been making promises without any results or any product for 4.5 years now, and now he's making promises about changing Africa, which is why it's gone up so much. Anyway, so I chose not to jump into this one because this isn't the hype, and it's not going to pump. So pumpamentals, rule number 1, doesn't hit the keywords. It's not going to hype. It's already been done, and the hype's not going to go there again. Even though it could 50x, but I'm not going to take my chances with it. That was my decision on that one. 19 cap, too big, X. So when I did this, it was probably at 9. Okay, I could check this out. But then again, to go from 1 million to 13 million, you have 13 less, you have, your ROI potential is divided by 13. So turn app users into loyal financial stakeholders. I don't know, it's just not catching my attention. It's not doing it for me, right? So that's not what I'm looking for. So I'm going to keep going up the list. So on and so forth. And here's why I thought BEPRO was just due. So when I got to it, and this is a great way to hunt, people. So don't just scroll through CoinMarketCap, because you're going to see a lot of stuff on exchanges, you know, like Binance only. You can't, if you're in America, that's not safe to use. And Binance US has way less options. So anyway, when I got to BEPRO, at the time it was 3.3 million market cap, 3.2. So yeah, we pumped this nice. That's pretty good. That's pretty nice. But anyway, so yeah, it was sitting here. I was like, all right. So we're gonna check out the website, and here's why I bought so heavily into this. Is because, first off, what is the hype this time? It's DeFi, okay? Bam! DeFi. So Moon Boys, who don't know what the hell they're buying, they're gonna buy it. It says DeFi. First off, now the other big words of pumpamentals and hype this time is protocol, oracles, cross-chain, stuff like that. So, you know, are there words like that on the website? Let's see. Protocol, look, protocol, bam. What else? Smart contracts. So this was the buzzword of 2017. Oh my God. Everything smart contracts, and people throwing money on it. They don't even know what smart contract, and almost no one knew what it meant. It was brand new. One of my Deep Onion, I stake on the wallet, and it just popped up. But anyway, the staking rewards are not very good with Deep Onion, but whatever. I run it to keep the network safer. But anyway, and plus I have a lot of pull on it in terms of the amount of coins I have versus everybody else. So decentralized access. Okay, so DeFi. So gaming's a big one. That's not necessarily a pump word this time, but it sort of kind of is. And then it's got big words like Polkadot. And then Binance Chain, you know, it's got cross-chain, so it can cross-chain against stuff. So it hits all of the key words. Plus this gaming and betting stuff, you know, there are some big players. So even though it doesn't really compete against Augur, at the time I thought it did. So this is literally what went through my mind. Okay, how can I tell if this is actually undervalued? Well, look at what a competitor is. And Augur, look how big this is before it pumped. I think it was like 230 million. So this has gone up a little bit. Yeah, it was sitting around here, and I thought, holy cow. So to go from 3 million to 230 million, if it only caught up with its competitor before it popped during a bear market, only to catch up to bear market competitor numbers, right? So it's like maybe 250 million. How many X would that be? 83X. So if you put $1,000 in it, you have $83,000. I was really heated, so I decided, okay, I'm about ready to throw money at this, but I kept digging, and so I decided to see. Actually, before I go there, I'll go right back to that thought. But did you note that it was born? BEPRO was born outside of 2017, outside of the hype, right? So where did it go? I forgot to say, like, that's one of the most important things. When was it born? So it's not overvalued. So it was born in 2020, and that was at the like nitty gritty. That was at the panhandle of the bear market. So it was born at the right time. Everything looked perfect because I knew stuff was getting ready to pop. And so since it had all the keywords, Moon Boys, who even if this project sucks, I would have bought it, right? Even if it sucked, I would have bought it. I would have thrown a couple grand. I would have sold some of my TE Food, which I'm a big fan of TE Food, which ticker is Tone, which I had a lot of. I still have quite a bit of it, but I've been selling it to buy this and other stuff. But anyway, I would have bought this even if the project sucked. I would have, just for those reasons. So another huge thing, okay, so what I'm about to say here is actually super important, so don't forget this. One of the biggest reasons why stuff like Cardano or VeChain have gotten so massive without a real product or customers. Even though VeChain's product is done, they just don't have any paying customers. They just have partnerships. They're testing still for 4.5 years testing. I don't know why people buy it. But anyway, one of the biggest things why those have pumped, and you should look for this if you want pumpamentals, is high coin circ. So high coin circulation. And what that does is, so circulating supply, 1.8 billion. That's good. So anything 500 million or above, that's pretty good. I think TE Food has like 500 million, 535 million, something like that. So that's high enough for me. And what that does is this. Think about, why are people buying Cardano? Okay, and I'll tell you why right here. I will tell you why, crypto crackheads. Because they go to page 1 of CoinMarketCap when they try to figure out what to buy. They see a $46,000. They see $1,400. What do they see next? $1. I'm buying that. And then they go to YouTube and look at all these people who have drunk the juice saying it's gonna change the world, and they think that this dollar can go to this number. That's what they think, because they don't know what they're doing. And that's why high coin circ is so important, because you want to be selling to the people who don't know what they're doing, essentially. So they are giving you their money willingly. And the best way to get a coin like that is high coin circ. And I mean, God, how many freaking coins does Cardano have? It's just insane. 32 billion coins. Okay, so that's a huge pumpament. If you want to know pumpamentals, not born in 2017, high coin circ, and it hits the key buzzwords of this run. Right? So last run, the keywords was smart contract and Ethereum killer. This time, they're actually more technical, and they're real. And in projects, thank God, when new coins, they actually have a working product. Like 90% of stuff in 2017, if you didn't get in 2017, consider yourself lucky. People got screwed so bad. They were just websites. They had nothing. They had nothing, repository on GitHub, nothing. It was literally the .com bubble, because the .com, like pets.com, it was a website. It didn't even have a company. They weren't even selling stuff yet, necessarily. So, and that's why they crashed, and that's why Amazon survived. That's all the .com bubble was. People made a website, and humans didn't know what it was. They didn't know what they were doing. They just saw it going up, and they bought. That's what happened in 2017. But this time it is different. Like, these companies are real, and they have a real product, and they're ready to go. And BPro, I looked into it. They do have over 50 customers who paid like 10 grand to build off of their service. So I started looking into it more, and I realized this actually is an Ethereum for gaming. And so it's not like Augur. Augur is a protocol to essentially make smart contracts like it on an if-then basis. So you can actually create the bets. Like, if Donald Trump wins, in 2020 or 2021, then this. Or if Biden wins, you can bet political. You can bet on anything. You can bet if my booger is green or red. You can make any bet you want. So it's totally different. And but anyway, I looked into this, and so a brief explanation of what Ethereum is. It's really hard to understand. Honestly, I don't even know if I understand it still, because they are actually upgrading and doing a lot more different things than they did at first. At first, they were just a poop catapult so other projects could build off of their platform. But what Ethereum is, it's essentially Microsoft. It's Microsoft Windows for cryptocurrency. That's what it is. So essentially, every computer you buy, besides Mac, in the world has Microsoft Windows. That's what Ethereum is. And so. So for gaming, that's what this is. This is Ethereum for gaming. Now, but you got to ask yourself, and Tron and EOS, I think those are going to die unless they change what they're doing, because they're just gambling sites. And I gambling works just fine without blockchain. Even though I've read recently that gambling does work pretty well on blockchain for multiple reasons. It drives down the price of all the overhead. Therefore, the betting odds for the bettors can get better, and there's more transparency. So the when third-party auditors come in and they make sure that the the casinos are running fairly. There are three ways that they can be cheated against the consumer. First is they know the auditor's coming, so they get all their, all of the dealers or whoever the game set up so it meets it, and when they leave, they change right back to give worse odds to the customers, or they just pay the third audit party to write it the right way, and they just keep going the way they're doing. I can't remember what the third is, but on the blockchain you can't do that. So, but anyway. I had my doubts on this project at first, like, well, why does gaming even need blockchain, and that was the problem in 2017. It was blockchain for dentistry and blockchain for this and blockchain for that. We're going to change the healthcare industry. Yo, you have a website and nothing else. You're not changing shit. Like, that's what 2017 was. So 2017 put a lot of doubt in my mind. It's just everybody, like, blockchain for planting tomatoes, it just they just picked whatever thing and said blockchain for this, smart contracts, and anyway, so I wanted to make sure this wasn't one of those. Even though this landscape of this run is so much better, if you're just getting in, you're so fortunate. God, so many people got screwed last time. But anyway, so I read into this, and Reddit is a great source because 100 minds are better than one, right? So you can quickly get through a lot of people going back and forth and exchanging ideas, and you can see what it's about better than reading this. Like, when you go through websites, honestly, it is pretty hard to understand what is going on. I mean, I've been in the game for 4.5 years, and it is still hard to understand just from this. So I typically go to Reddit and read about it. And when I was reading about it, I thought, holy cow, this is the real freaking deal. Not only is its product done, they have paying customers already. They're ready to go. And they were born during the bear market, so they haven't had a time to shine. They haven't had pumpamentals behind it. They haven't had some YouTuber shill it yet. I guess technically I was the first. But anyway, and I just saw all of these things mounting. High coin circ, it hits all the buzzwords. Born during a bear market, hasn't had a time to shine. And I thought, holy crap, this is an amazing opportunity to buy right now. So that is how I found this gem. So all of that is literally how I found it, and that's how I find about, I would say, 40 to 60%. It's roughly half. Half of my gems I find by research like that, and not just scrolling through CoinMarketCap, but going to my favorite exchange. And Stex is okay. Stex is okay. CoinDCX is okay, but KuCoin is just the ish. So typically I go to KuCoin. I hunt for gems like that, and I do it by clicking KuCoin as I don't know if there's a good way just to get to KuCoin, but when you go to market here, you click market on the coin to see where it's sold, see where you can get it. And if you hit just straight up KuCoin, it'll bring up all the coins it sells. And it is an order of trading volume. And you can just start from the bottom and start, process of elimination. Is it some 2017 hype coin like that distributed cloud anonymous cloud service? Does it have low coin circ? Does it is it a real project? Does it have customers? Does it have a working product? Is it active on Twitter and YouTube? And does it have a following? You can just process of elimination. Oh, and the first one is it is a small cap, because sometimes just because the trading's low on USDT or Bitcoin, it doesn't mean it's a small cap. Like for example, Zcash, it's pretty down low. It's not heavily traded on KuCoin. So that's the very first thing. I open up the coin and see how. And Electronium, that was a big buzz one. That got a huge, is a British coin, and they went from anonymous privacy coin to more like a speed coin, kind of like a Digibyte. They totally changed their ways after they tanked. but anyway, so the first thing I check is the market cap. So, and then all those other things. So that is how I find gems. Now. Let's jump into Ethereum and wizardry of, kind of what is happening in this market. So, on one of my earlier videos, I talk about origin lines. All right. on any coin, you need to place your origin lines. It's going to be the basis of every decision you make, pretty much. All right, so Ethereum is newer. Are these origin lines going to be fixed for the rest of its life? I would give it a high probability yes. However, it is totally possible they change, especially if Ethereum really does do what I think it's going to do. I think it might not ever touch these lines again. I think Ethereum is probably the best buy on page 1 of CoinMarketCap. It could do some serious stuff. But anyway, so you got to have your origin lines. And just for like, so when the bear market's approaching, if I can touch this real quick, assuming you haven't gotten destroyed here and you have gotten into USDT and Tether or cashed out, taking profits somewhere around here, or even earlier, like you think you just got out too early, but that's better than getting out too late and holding your bags. But anyway, when you're trying to find out when to buy in, just look left. Go to the weekly candle, and look at where there was resistance and support. So resistance, support, a little bit, just a tiny bit, and then this was resistance, support. So I knew beyond a reasonable doubt, and I drew these lines years ago. I drew it when it was probably here. So this was probably 2018 when I was trying to find out where should I put my buy orders to buy Ethereum because I knew it was going to tank around January. Everything tanks around January. It's just, even in a bull market, if a bull market goes through January, people take profits to pay taxes, and it just goes down 35 to 40% every year for some reason. It might not this year though, but I expect it will. Anyway, you just look left on the weekly candle. Where's support resistance? It will hit one of these, period. And so what it is, I chose not to put buy orders around here. I put buy orders from here to here. So some of them got hit, and I got pretty lucky. And a second rule in bear markets is as you're crawling out of it, price always, even in traditional markets, it comes back to test it or like 10% above it. So what did I do after it crawled out of it? I put in buy orders like 10% higher. And I think I got them. It happens every time, and it always will. Or maybe not 10, maybe more. Maybe I did like 25% higher. Yeah, so I put them right here, and I don't know why I didn't extend this because maybe I thought it was going to happen earlier. But yeah, my buy orders got hit barely, but I bought Ethereum for $100. I don't think I put it under 100. I think I put it like 101, 102, 103, 105. I didn't buy like thousands of dollars of it, but I bought Ethereum for $100. So that's how you decide when to buy back. It's very simple. And there's a second indicator that typically works on Bitcoin. When do you know that this is capitulation? Like, what's rock bottom? There's a pretty easy way to do it. Watch this. Here, oh, I was expanding the wrong crap. It's when the weekly RSI gets here. That's it. Look at where it went last time. Look, all I did was put this line, and I said the bottom is when it gets to, and look at the number way over here. So like 40, I said to myself, I'm going to buy back. Like the timing of it, and I know it's over when it's about there. Hitting stuff on my keyboard. And that's the no-brainer way to do it. It's just the RSI will hit it. And look, and when I knew the second chance to buy the bottom was, it's when it got down on the week. So this is weekly candle. This only works on the weekly. It's like the master of all charts. I knew it when the weekly RSI got down here again, that was the second chance to buy. It's literally that simple, people. So trading can be simple, but the reason why people usually suck at trading is because it's scary as hell. When it's actually happening, your emotions tell you, because people hate buying bottoms. It's so scary because everything's tanking. But you have to trust the fundamentals. You just, like, when it gets there, you buy it, period. Doesn't matter if it goes down 10%, you just close your eyes and just hibernate and wake up in 5 months. Doesn't matter. Just do it. Like, it's fundamentals. You follow rules, period. And your emotions will scream against it, even on the way up. When to sell, when to take profits, your emotions will like go against you almost every time. And another way you'll fail when you're playing with cryptocurrency is when you're on a roll, you think you're smarter than your technicals, and you'll stop doing them. And that's where I've gone wrong. When I use leverage, I get on a roll. I turned $150 into 3,500 in like maybe 3 weeks, and then I think I'm smart. And then I get crushed. So that's why I don't I can do technical analysis really well, but I simply don't have the emotional discipline to trade on leverage. Now, trading without leverage is totally different. It's easy. You just buy and hold. You buy at the right time and you hold till the right time. With technical analysis, it's pretty simple. But as long as you have your origin lines in, then it's simple. But anyway, so yeah, that's when to buy back. So when the next bear market happens and you get into UST around here, whenever stuff starts tanking, don't buy back till it hits there, period. Don't do it. Don't do it unless you think you're fancy and you can buy once you have like a 50% drop and you think it's going to go up, and then you sell once it rises like 50% again, and then it's going to keep doing that. It does it every year. But yeah, you could just get flat. Don't go short. Don't try to short the market. You'll get destroyed. Shorting's a really bad idea because you're earning more Bitcoin as Bitcoin's tanking. So using leverage in a bull market is smart, but it's better to get flat and get interest on your stable coins, because people who are trying to short it are getting wrecked and they're paying a lot of interest. They're getting liquidated and you get to take their money. Getting flat. But anyway, that's when to buy back right there. It's that simple. And I think in my POTS group, so for my group that is listening to this, not just YouTube, I'm pretty sure if you scroll up before you even joined back in back in 2018, I think I told my group, guys, the bottom is when this hits around 37 or 4. I think I might have said 40, but it's when it gets to roughly that line. That is the bottom, and I'm almost certain I called that. And so, but I also knew the origin line. Like, I knew it was going to hit the origin line. Now, did I see this coming? Hell no. That was a once in a lifetime opportunity to buy Bitcoin, because I don't think that's ever going to happen again. I don't know why that happened, but this going under the origin line, it's never happened before. That could have tanked Bitcoin and just, that could have made it die. Yeah, that was scary. But anyway, so back to F. So those are kind of fundamentals, macro decisions that should base all of your micro decisions, right? So, and when you're trying to find bottoms, RSI plus just looking left at support and resistance, which actually I should do that for Bitcoin. I actually knew roughly where Bitcoin was going to go too. And what the hell did I just press? Yeah, I just looked left. I knew it was going to go. I actually thought here. I thought it was going to hit 2,900 or 2,800, and here's why. It had the best support resistance. All this resistance, support, and then it wicked down, hit support. I really thought it was going to hit that. But I also knew it could hit here. So I knew it was going to dip between 45 and 2,800, and I put buy orders for that, and it always happens in January, so I knew it was going to be the January after all this time, and I did very well. I think less than half of my orders got filled because I shot a little too low. I thought it was going to dip under the origin line, kind of like here, but not that deep, because I thought it would respect this more than it respected the origin line, but it actually respected the origin line perfectly, and what it actually hit was the weekly 200, which is like the master line of all lines. It's the one line to rule them all. If I can, let's see here, indicators, where are we? I wonder why that isn't on here. Okay, well, I must have taken that off. That sucks. Darn it. Well, I don't have my lines written on here for some reason. I must have accidentally deleted them. But anyway, yeah, the weekly 200 was going like this, and it actually hit it perfectly. So when two important lines hit, typically price will do two things. First, it's sucked into it like gravity, like I said in my last video. So it was kind of inevitable that that would happen, but I didn't see that coming when I put in my buy orders. So both the 200 and the 200 EMA on the weekly candle was right here, hit the origin line at the same time. So it sucks price into it, and it just doesn't go below it. It just hits it because it makes everybody happy. And now everybody says, okay, I'm done selling. I'm going from a seller to a buyer, and that's what happened, like literally. And that's also why my plan of buying at 2,900 or 2,900 didn't work. I just didn't see that coming. I thought it was going to hit here. But anyway, but I was right that, hey, now's the time to buy because of this RSI. But, all right, so back to the Ethereum. Here we go. So what's Ethereum going to do here? I don't know if Ethereum's going to follow Bitcoin, guys. So I don't think it's going to do the exact same thing. It's already coming down to test its prior high. And honestly, if you think about it, Bitcoin's run has been stronger than Ethereum's right now. I mean, from some standpoint. Now, the run has been bigger than Bitcoin's. I think I heard somebody say it's been a 700%. No, 2,000. So I don't think Bitcoin's has been 2,000 because Bitcoin didn't crash as much. But in terms of all-time highs, Bitcoin's has been stronger. But in terms of overall percentages, if you bought, by looking left and haven't bought here, you would be better off holding F by a long shot, actually. And that'll probably stay true for the next 10 years. You're going to have better ROI with F. And F, actually, its market cap might pass Bitcoin within 5-10 years. In the next cycle, I actually would say 50-50 chance it passes Bitcoin. But anyway, so it's testing its prior high. Is it going to stop here? I would say yes. It might flash crash. So if I wanted to try to get a good spot to buy F, I would probably switch to the monthly, see what's happening on the monthly. It might go down to here. It might hit 1138. That's as low as it would go. 1120. It won't go past that. Or I shouldn't say that. It could go to 0, right? But extremely unlikely it goes past that, because the higher you go, 1 hour, 2 hour, 3 hour, weekly, monthly, the stronger it gets. It's not going to go below that. Now, will it actually hit that? Well, if it does, it'd be a great time to long it, and it'd be great to put in buy orders down there. If it never hits, it never hits. So where would be the next place to think it might go? Well, I think it might be there now. It might not go down a bit more. It might go sideways for quite a while, just to allow things to reset, like the RSI, the Stokes. So see how high the Stokes are in the week? They gotta come down like to here. So if you scroll out in bull runs, the Stokes like to come down to level 55, period. So F will not take off until it satisfies this, period. It won't do it. It can't. And because traders aren't going to buy it. Like the traders who know what they're doing aren't going to buy F until that line hits 55. Now, also you can, so Ethereum got really choppy here. So I don't think that history is long enough to really tell on the RSI. So this is RSI. RSI, I use RSI and Stokes. Those are my big indicators in moving averages and candlesticks. But anyway, and this is TradingView, not KuCoin. So there's a lot of activity here. If I had to guess, it would be, so you have support resistance on RSI too. So you have resistance, support. See, let's look left. And then a lot of action here. So it's going to be somewhere around here. And look, it's already almost there. So I would probably bet somebody $1,000 on what I'm about to say. If we could go on Augur, I would bet you this. Is that I bet Ethereum, its RSI hangs out here while Stokes get down to 55, and then it's going to scream up. That's exactly what's going to happen. So if you want to know what's going on F, it might hang out around this land for a while, between 1,300 and maybe as low, what did I say, 1120? It's going to hang out here until that hits 55, because this RSI has already made people happy. That's making traders happy and bots happy. So we're just waiting on that. And honestly, the whole market might be just waiting on F, to be honest with you. Now let's look at RSI on Bitcoin. Why do I keep putting BTU? Like, am I cold? Like, I need more BTUs in my house? So Bitcoin has a lot more price history, so there's a lot of magic in the RSI here to when to tell what's happening. So look at all the look at all the RSI action around here. So you can put a general feel of support resistance. So here resistance, right? So it went up, pinged down, went up, pinged down, went up, pinged down. A lot of resistance here, went down, came up, pinged off. And here you have a lot of support. It went through support, but the general thing is support, support, support. So support typically in the future becomes resistance. So keep going right. What happened? Resistance, 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 resistance. And so this 65 level is a big freaking deal. So I honestly think Bitcoin's another way to tell when to, if you want to start long in Bitcoin or start taking your money out of Tether and putting it back into cryptocurrency, it's going to follow the same rule, but at different numbers. I think ETH was 55. This is 65. Once RSI touches this or gets very close, it's kind of a loose rule. It's kind of close. But once it gets this, and let's see where support resistance for the Stokes are. Yeah, this is obvious. Like this is too obvious. It's at 49.5. So essentially, this is pretty close to it already. So once this comes down here, and the Stokes come down to 49.5, that's when you buy. It's that easy. It's that easy. Just do it, and you will win like 7 times out of 10. Does it always work? No, but the likelihood of it happening is so statistically high that is your bet. So in trading, you only have to be right 3 out of 10 times, because those 7 times that you're wrong, you should be getting out. So this is leverage trading. You should get out of your trade quickly and only lose like up to, Warren Buffett says like never more than 0.5%, because he's dealing with a lot of money. When you're trying to make big gains, I do 5%. Probably stupid, but a lot of people say 2.5%. So you get out of your trade and you just stop doing what you're doing. You don't try to keep trading. You get kicked out. You've lost 2.5% of your money, but you still have out of $100. You still have $97.5. And what you do is once you are right about one of those 3, you milk it and you let it run, and you just have to decide when to take profits. And so those 3 times are just way outdo those 7, and that's what trading is all about. You only have to be right 30% of the time, and when it's this obvious, chances of you being right is really high. So, and the only problem is the way you can go wrong there on such a good bet like this, when a long Bitcoin or ETH, is if you use too much leverage, because when everybody's looking at something, remember the exchanges have the incentive to make sure you don't make money. Right? Because when you don't make money, that means they don't have to pay you. So what they're going to be doing and stuff like this, when it's this obvious, is they're going to do something tricky. Either, so like I was saying, I think it's going to hit 39, maybe 39.25, 39.5 because of this. I think it's going to hit this line exactly. So maybe 38.5. It's going to do one of 2 things. It could ride it, but I think that's the weekly 21, which I don't know why my stuff is on here, but I usually have it on yellow. But anyway, it could ride the weekly 21. So let's just say it would actually be between here somewhere. So the 21's going to be about right here, EMA. It could come down and wait until it catches up to here and tag it and just ride like that, and a nice slow up. But I think that's the least likely, because the exchanges don't want you to be able to hit it. They will either let price come down, and then they will use their own Bitcoin, and they will market sell. They will get you out of your position. They will liquidate you or stop you out, and then they will use that same Bitcoin. They will market buy, and they will skyrocket up thousands of dollars. And now you don't have your position because you're just waking up, so when you get stopped out, I don't know, I think you have to have computer programs to be able to reset your longs, because usually when you're out of it, unless you use different platforms, I guess that would be a pretty good way. But anyway, that's what it does. So it'll either crash below it, or it's only going to allow you 1 second to buy it. So that when you wake up, I missed it. It's over, and now it's going up. So that's probably what's going to happen with this price action here. Those are the 3 most likely situations. Another possible likely situation is it just comes up from here and it never drops down, or it goes way below, like it goes all the way down to 29,000, which is completely possible. I mean, there is a lot of action. Let's look at the monthly. Would the monthly? Yes, absolutely. It could absolutely come down to 29,000 bucks, and if it does, that would be a hell of a time to buy it. And honestly, that would still be very bullish to come down just a couple candles and hit that, and then test it and rock it. You know, even though you're going, like, that's almost a 50% drop, doesn't matter. You know, there's a lot of money to be made in shorting and buying at that low before it skyrockets. So it could come down, what did I say? I thought I said 28, but this looks like a good number here. It could come down to 32 or 33,000, or it could come down to 29,000. I think that's very much less likely. 29,000 being the least likely. This is totally possible, but usually stuff goes off the weekly, so I'm thinking the three most likely situations are these. All right, so that is so that covers bear, bull market, you know, trading wizardry, just a base knowledge. You know, nothing what I said gives you fast decisions for scalping. There's all sorts of money in scalping, but you know, whenever you're deciding to buy alts or trying to, you know, when's a good time to buy ETH, or I have 500 bucks, when should I buy Bitcoin? I just went over the basics, like, draw your lines, put on RSI, put on Stokes, yeah, just take notes and rewatch this video, and you should be pretty safe in cryptocurrency. One thing I didn't cover is when to buy tops, or when is something topped. It's actually pretty easy too. Tops and RSI almost always follow the same rule, and maybe it's on the daily. Bottoms are on the weekly. Tops, I think, are on the daily. What did 2013 do? No, it should be the weekly. You usually see a lot of divergence. So here, the RSI was very high. Then you had bearish divergence because RSI made a lower high, but price made a higher high. And then you had another higher high, and RSI was still lower than that original top one. And then stuff just went parabolic. Now, would it have been smart to say to yourself, well, there's going to be bearish divergence, so it's going to go even higher, and RSI is only going to come up to here? Well, you didn't have that chance. It was a total blow off top. So a good time to realize, crap, I'm getting out of the market and putting my stuff in the Tether or USD was here. Just look at the RSI on the weekly. Just like the bottom, this is what you do when you want to get out. But don't get scared and sell it here. If it drops 50%, it will come back up. It won't go back up to the top, but it's gonna come back up. Just trust me. Don't get scared if that happens. So if in December, or if it hits in November, like we might have a shock sell-off to try to shock people, because it almost always happens in December. But if you see it happens, just wait. It'll come back up. But it'll come back up not quite as high. And once you see that RSI kind of topping, sell. Like, just get out. That is like the most perfect time to get out. And the reason why is because you can't call tops. You don't know what's going to happen. So you buy the second highest top, which is after it, and you see divergence, and you can tell RSI never got stuck below this this moving average louis. And look what happened here. Got stuck below it for the first time since here. Well, it's obviously stuck below it here, but yeah, I mean, it rode it, and that doesn't count. So, and then it busted through. Yeah, it got stuck. So that is like the most no-brainer time to get out on a top. So it's actually not a top. It's just the best logical time to get out, and it's all in the weekly RSI. When to buy back, when's the market bottom, and when to get out. RSI, I think the exact indicator, if you want to look this up on TradingView. Yeah, I think it's just this. You want to type in indicators and type in RSI plus with no spaces. And I think this is Krown Crypto's. Right there. It's this guy. Yeah, Krown Crypto. Like this dude. He's the best trader on the internet. crypto trader. He's retired at age 30. I watched that dude. I watched him during 2018. During this, I watched him turn 0.1 Bitcoin into 25 Bitcoin, and that was his play account, just to show people. He even moved countries like 3 times. Dude always complains about not being able to, like, if you want to seriously learn how to trade, watch his channel every day of your life, and rewatch it, and actually catch up, go back and watch 2018 videos. It's the dude. He makes most of his money from options trading, not spot leverage trading. But anyway, that dude is the real freaking deal, Krown Crypto. So I use his indicator. That's one of the free ones, thank God. And then Stokes, everybody has Stokes, so you just type in Stokes. And so those indicators I play with, you can use your own. There are other fancy ones, MACDs, like, it's essentially, they all tell the same story just in a different way. So it's how your brain works. Like, do I like a story to be told with lots of adjectives and fluffy stuff, or do I like it straight to the point, you know? So it all tells the same story. All these indicators, they do the same thing, just the cover of the book is different. But these are the 2 that work with my brain a lot, and they work in tandem a lot. So, gosh, what else did I got gems, I got... there's one thing I wanted to say. So if you want to diversify into big cap coins on light leverage, all right, if that's something you want to do, which is something I'm actually going to do, check this crap out. This is actually kind of exciting. Bitcoin Cash and Litecoin. Even though Ethereum might just steal all of the attention, I'm not going to lie. But look at this. Origin lines for Bitcoin Cash, I don't think that these will hold up because it's too young. All it did was it got invented and then fell. But anyway, check this out. Look at the all-time high. Look. Past 3,000. Where's the price now? Dudes, I think Bitcoin Cash is just late to the party, and it will easily pass its all-time high. I would give that a near 100% chance. I mean, look at this crap. Just to the all-time high, that's 800%. Bitcoin and Ethereum already passed their all-time high. Litecoin's the same way. And Litecoin, I think is safer. Even though Bitcoin Cash, there's more risk, more reward, in my personal opinion. I think Bitcoin Cash is a sleeping giant. I really think it might be actually what it meant to be. It might become the cash version, and Bitcoin might just stay the reserve of everything. I think that might be what happens. But anyway, because people kind of like it that way, and for example, like I said in an earlier video, the news doesn't really tell you the truth. It tells you what you want to hear, and if people want Bitcoin to stay the reserve currency, they might not come out with Lightning Network. They might just keep it the way it is because it's working, and therefore I think that'll open the opportunity for Bitcoin Cash and Litecoin and other coins like Viacoin, Grossalcoin, Dash. But I think Grossalcoin will probably be a good bet too. But anyway, check this out. Litecoin. Litecoin has a good way of stealing the party. Because its halving is different than Bitcoin Cash's and Bitcoins. So here, what was the talk of the town during early 19? It was Litecoin. It stole the show. Everybody talking about Litecoin because it halved and it screamed up. So Litecoin is what took us out of the bear market. I mean, really, that was the perception. It really didn't. It was the RSI on the weekly of Bitcoin, but this made it for certain. And really, this is what paved way for Bitcoin to scream up to 14,000. Bitcoin followed Litecoin, and it's all because Litecoin's halving was different. So the block reward, went from whatever it was, let's say 12, whatever, and it went down to 6. And so it became rarer, and the price skyrocketed, which is essentially why Bitcoin skyrockets in cycles as well, the halving. But yeah, that paved the way for the short squeeze in Bitcoin to happen. So with that, when you can bet on it, every cycle Litecoin is going to steal the show at some point. It will, it does, and it always will. Even over Ethereum, it might only be a month long, but it's going to do it. So with that thought, it also has not passed its all-time high. Right? And so thinking about, how much more it will go past its all-time high here, it went 800% past its all-time high. This next time, it probably won't be as much. Let's just call it 530%. It's probably going to hit over 1,500, guys. And it's sitting at 165. It's probably going to hit about 1,300. So, you know, as Bitcoin is going down and sideways and boring here, once Bitcoin hits around 39,000 and you buy Litecoin and you long it on low leverage, because it could crash on you, but just buy it, put like ×2, ×3, and as it starts looking more confident, and just increasing your leverage, that is probably a fantastic way to diversify your portfolio, just in case your altcoin selections don't work out. I think there's a lot of money in this, and this is kind of like my 𝐻𝐼𝐞oin bet. 𝐻𝐼𝐞oin looks pretty safe and sure. It's never guaranteed, but Litecoin is kind of your safe and sure, like no-brainer bet. Bitcoin Cash is more like my bet on Deep Onion. It's very risky, but the reward, I think Deep Onion could 500x. I was buying it at 5 cents. So at the very bottom, but I had plenty of time. Even my son gave me 400 of his bucks to buy it, and his 400 bucks are now like 1,200, or before Bitcoin went down. But anyway, actually no, he bought half TE Food and half Deep Onion, and he bought it at the very bottom, both the coins. It was amazing. Yeah, he got lucky. I think that was early 2020, late 2019. But anyway. Yeah, so Bitcoin Cash. It could steal the show, folks, on a percentage basis. Will it just fizzle and never reach that all-time high because people aren't interested in Bitcoin guilds anymore? Absolutely. It might just fizzle. It might stay in here. And then once the bear market arrives, it might just come back down. It's totally possible. So risk-reward is higher for both here. Because if it does go to its all-time high and you get a little long there, even on like 3x leverage, it doesn't matter. So whatever earnings you get, it's ×3. It's huge. But Litecoin's kind of a no-brainer. But if you do like half and half on both, once and the way to kind of time it is when Bitcoin hits that level and doesn't crash below it, enter in slightly, and then as it looks more confident, even if it's going up and you lose a little position, that's fine. Enter more, enter more, enter more. Don't just do all at one and like 100x leverage, because it's probably going to crash below and liquidate and you've lost all your money. Don't ever do that. And honestly, I wouldn't suggest anything over 20x ever, no matter how safe you think something is. But anyway. That would be a good time to enter. And, these fundamentals, it looks like it's just going to ride this line, guys. So you can see how I made these lines a long time ago. And I realized that here is a lot of support resistance. Here's a lot of support resistance. I said to myself, I'm just going to buy Bitcoin Cash around here. And I did. And then I kind of, it never came back down. I realized, okay, well, where's the next level? And I just said, oh, it's probably just going to keep hitting this line. And when it did, kept hitting the line. I drew these lines years ago, people. Years. Like, probably, I think I drew it probably around here. So 2019, October. So anyway, with fundamentals like that and fundamentals thinking it's going to pass its all-time high, you just have to trust it. It could be wrong, but that's what, like I said earlier, in trading, you have to trust the fundamentals regardless of what your emotions are saying. It's uncomfortable, but if you have to remove it. It's kind of, you just have to remove your emotions, and it's very uncomfortable. So just a heads up there, like Bitcoin Cash and Litecoin look like pretty good. I wouldn't do it yet. I would wait about 20 days, but it's probably going to ride this line, maybe check down here, and then it's going to scream up, people. So those are, so even though I'm an altcoin person, I'm really eyeing some leveraged longs on Bitcoin Cash and Litecoin right now. Especially if, BPro, I'm not really ever going to get out of all my position in BPro, but if this goes up a bit, I'm going to take some profits on that and enter it in that. Like, that's my game plan. I won't market sell on anybody, so I'm not going to crash the price, don't worry. I do limit sell, so it keeps going up. I create liquidity upwards. But anyway, so that is my rambling of today. Hopefully, even though I was a little scatterbrained, hopefully, what I was trying to do is I'm just trying to tell you as much as I know, as condensed as I know, in one video to try to guide you guys, because honestly, listen, you can get freaking screwed. You can lose so much money. So I've already lost a lot of money, so you don't have to. And I've been waiting for this moment for 4.5 years, okay? I have literally been up at night hunting for gems for over an hour. And I bet I've put in 15 hours a week minimum in cryptocurrency. So either watching Crown Crypto Cave's channel, a mixture between that and gem hunting, or just reading the news on Medium and CoinDesk. And then also trying to understand Ethereum and what all it's doing, and trying to understand the new buzzwords like DeFi, which honestly, it could totally change banking within 10 years. A lot of bankers might not, and financial investors, people who try to increase people's money on accounts. I bet there's jobs are going to go to trash within 8 years. So if you're in finance, watch out. you better buy some Ethereum to hedge your bets. But anyway, guys, hopefully the intent of this video was to help you guys make money, but also help you guys not get screwed, because something like this could totally happen. And honestly, I think it might. Something like this could happen. So if you could see price history, price was around 11 and $10 here, and dude, this was actually the biggest run of all Bitcoin, like by far. It was stupid. But this one was the fastest. This was actually really stupid. But here it was up to the moon, up to the moon. And what happened? It crashed like 70% in a matter of, it was so fast, guys. In 90 days. And then it skyrocketed. So what happened here? And I think this could happen again. I honestly, if I had to guess what's going to happen this market in January, I think this is going to happen. I think it's going to go like this. I think we're going to have a 70% fast fire correction, and then it's off to the moon. And what's going to happen is people who are new to the space are going to sell down here, and people like me are going to be buying it from them. And all those people, it's the vast majority of people, guys, because they hear Bitcoin on the news. They have friends like me who have not shut up about Bitcoin for 4 years, so once it's in the news, they finally go over it. But I think this is going to happen. So something like this can happen. So I'm trying to help you guys stay safe, because this, this could happen. And it's also not safe just to hold your bags and say, oh, it's going to go right back up, because if you do that, you're waiting 4 years. Like I just did. You don't want to do that either. So you want to know when to sell. So hopefully these fundamentals will help you, try to get out of situations like this, holding your bags the whole time and just not telling your wife how little money you have now when you had a lot more earlier, and also to avoid situations like this. So this graph was out here, guys. So there are two situations one of them will happen. It's either going to be this, or it's going to be a long ride down. And I honestly think Bitcoin's going to go to like 500,000 by going up to here, maybe 100. It could hit pierce 200,000, but it might hit like 110, flash crash, and then up to like 400,000. I think this could happen. So watch out, guys. Hopefully you found this informational. Be very careful out there. And lastly, don't forget to take your profits. Don't just think you're going to keep double and tripling your money. It won't happen. You're going to get destroyed. Take profits. Buy your wife something if you have a wife. Buy yourself something. Buy a new car. Take profits on the way up. Even though what's going to happen if it keeps going up, you're going to wish you kept it in. I know, it doesn't matter, because there's going to be a point where you wished you had taken profits. I guarantee it, it's going to happen. So don't forget to take profits, guys. Be very safe out there. Hopefully you found this helpful.